Thank you. Oh, are we ready? No longer the witness the last thing. Well, we would like to welcome everyone to the Murray City Municipal Council Committee of the Whole meeting, August 6, 2024. First thing we need to do is welcome everyone. Thank you. Thank you for being here. First thing is approval of minutes of the Committee of the Whole, July 9th, 2024, Committee of the Whole, July 16th. Is there any corrections or comments or questions on the minutes to be approved?
I don't have any.
No, do you wanna take them together?
Yeah, we can do that. Sure, go right ahead.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the Committee of the Whole for July 9th, 2024 and July 16th, 2024.
I have approval by Ms. A motion, thank you. By Ms. Turner, thank you. And do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, we have one by Ms. Pop, thank you. And can we have a voice vote and everyone is in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So we will move on to discussion item number 1, Power Department Quarterly Report. Right on, 20 minutes and start the clock.
Start the clock. Don't hurry.
That's okay. Here you go. Oh, yes, thank you. How's everybody? Thanks for having us here. There we go. Just look at that for a minute and then we'll go on to our. Well, we're gonna give you just some updates on what's happened at the power department. We've got a lot going on right now. So we'll start with our central substation. As you recall, we've got, we're rebuilding our central substation. We've got two 65 MVA power transformers. They are on order. And to the tune of about $7.3 million for two transformers. And which is if we were doing this 5 years ago, it would probably be much less. And I don't think it's a full 290 weeks out, but we're just under 4 years before we'll get them before they arrive. So that'll give us plenty of time to 4 years. 4 years.
Two transformers?
Yes, that's crazy. These aren't your everyday transformers. They're in your backyard, but these are our power transformers. But still, it's kind of crazy if you think about. So planning is very important, and with the help of everyone at the city, we've been able to get an RFP out, and we've got money budgeted, and more than likely I think we'll end up bonding for this because it's going to end up being probably anywhere $10 to $11 million when we're total with the rebuild. So that's a pretty sizable amount. But it's something that, go ahead. I
The
think you have a
substation
question.
being the one right down here, right?
Yes, right behind our power department.
Okay,
Offices.
and the reason for the rebuild?
It needs to be updated for one. So when we upgraded to 138, we did what we could, but there's a substation, there's two transfers in there. We took one out of service a while back, and then once Chris Neiman got here, he tested the oil in that transformer, came back satisfactory, so we put it back in service. So, but we're just it's sinking for one, and so that's a driving force right
And
there.
I thought it wasn't sinking.
What's that?
I thought it wasn't sinking, but it is sinking.
It is. It's built on a landfill,
That's,
and that's the problem. So, but we're gonna build it in place where it's at, but we will go down and make sure go down to bedrock and do whatever we have to do to stabilize it. But we were gonna move it. We were gonna move it up, kind of where one of our buildings was gonna
right,
be.
because when we were over
Yes,
there,
yeah.
that's
That
what
was-
you were saying.
That was one of our initial plans. We had a few different plans that we looked at, but that one was that was north of $20 million to make that happen when we were looking at it. So I like the idea of cutting that in half and keeping it in place. There's room out there. We can build it and then make the transition when the transformers get here. So we're excited about this. It's been a long time coming. It is needed. What's nice about this is now just one transformer will be able to pack the load of that substation if needed, where we don't have that right now. So So yeah, and it'll give us some growth for a lot of years going
How
forward.
old is it?
That substation, I think we have a transformer in there is there a 30-year-old transformer in there? That doesn't seem,
I don't know the age.
it got redone before I got here, so it's at least, I think it did a couple years before that, so it's probably 19 to 20 years old. Some of those, one of those transformers in there is older than that, but we should get a better life out of it. I mean, we're looking at probably a 50 year. The transformers we're getting, they're Delta Star, and they should be good for a lot of years. Let's say 30, let's say 30,
Yeah,
yeah, they should last a long, long time.
how much is that a day?
Who's our accountant? Who can crunch
She's
it?
adding the
Who
numbers,
can
she's
crunch the
crunching the
numbers for
numbers
us?
now.
Brenda's back there doing it already.
And
Do you have a rendering of the substation?
Not yet.
Yet?
not yet.
Okay.
We
We'll
have
wanna
a
see
roundabout, yes, and as soon as,
Great.
so the RFP, we're trying to get an RFP put together for the rebuild of this complete substation. We decided to get the transformers on order and then get those coming, and then we will work on getting an RFP out, and we'll see what comes back, and then we'll get the design taken care of. So we've got an engineering firm looking at getting our RFP done for us, so yeah, we're excited about that. That's a good project coming up, so. And it'll, like I said, it'll be good for the city, it'll be good for all the building that's going on and whatnot, so it'll give us some growth potential, so. So let's talk about our natural gas generation plant. We have 3 11 megawatt units, solar turbines back behind our, right next to the sinking substation, but they're not sinking, thank heavens. So we had Paul Dornsar retire. I don't know if we might not have been able to talk about that since he left middle of February probably. So he ran our generation plant. So he was over all the maintenance, all of keeping the turbines up and running. He retired, and so we got 2 of the units up and running around the middle of June because we bought gas for the summer. And we just ran them, we just turned them on and we're gonna run them nonstop. But we had one that developed the vibrations, so we had to shut it down. We had to shut them both down, and they came and did some inspections. So we had solar come in and look at the turbines. We're waiting for some reports right now. It could be a little bit expensive to get. Unit 2 might need a new bearing, we're looking at that. Unit 3, so Unit 1 is the one that's running right now, we got it up and running again. Unit 3, we're hoping to get it running in the next couple of weeks. We'll see what we can do.
Is
Unit
this the
2
hydro?
No, this is our generation plant.
Oh.
Our turbines out back,
Yeah, the
just
ones
behind our
here.
plant, yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll keep you posted.
Everything's expensive.
The controls. I mean, Paul did a really good job of keeping those. I mean, it was his little world, but at the same time, it's still running on Windows 7. So to get the controls.
Windows 7?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
retired with him,
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
So we have
Hey,
some,
when you like your
Like-
computer, you like your
Yes,
computer,
for
you don't
sure.
wanna mess with it.
and he did a good job. He did. And I looked at the hours. We're about 13,000 hours on one of them, and we should get to 30 hours before, or 30,000 hours. We got 12,000 hours about. We should get to 30,000 hours before we have to do a major overhaul, but I think it's gonna come before that, obviously. What happens with those turbines, they're meant to just get them online and then just run them. But we would run them daily. We'd heat them up, shut them down every day for like the whole summer. That's not how they're meant to run, but that's how we had to run them at the time. We'll look at doing a little bit different hopefully in the future, but so I think there's some parts in there that have been maxed and are gonna need replacing. I don't wanna throw the number out
It's a
there on
big
the,
site.
I don't wanna throw the numbers on the controls out there, but
Go for it.
A lot.
$680,000 per turbine to get the controls updated. So we're talking a lot of money. and, but we need them.
From
So,
Windows 7 to
to
currently?
21st century. Just
Oh
start-
my gosh.
Yeah, so it's expensive, and
Can
that's
he
just,
come back part-time?
we,
We give him food?
oh, we won't talk about this.
Yeah.
We'll chat after. But, yeah, so it's expensive, and we're gonna do the very best we can. We did kind of get a price to replace one of those turbines was upwards of $4.5 to $5 million. And that would be a 17 megawatt unit versus the 11 we have now. It'd be more efficient, but I mean, it's $5 million, so.
If we replace the whole turbine, are we gonna run into the issue where we have to turn them off every day, or is that designed to continuously run?
That would be the same turbine that we have now. It's just designed to,
Just to run.
just to run. And Paul always told us that. Paul always said, hey, we're doing damage every time. It's like, yeah, every time you start and stop. Yeah, and we knew that, and that's just how we had to do it. But we'll kind of look at that going forward. But my goal, or our goal, I should say, is to do some upkeep, replace some bearings, and get some more life out of these turbines. If we can get another 5 to 10 years, that'd be amazing, I think. So, because they really help in the summer, help fill our peak. So, but I just wanted to let you know that's what we're looking at right now. So Brenda's aware, and mayors and GL, everybody's aware now, obviously, but we've talked about this. That this is not the first time people have heard about this.
Surprise.
So
Greg,
yes.
then the percentage of electricity that comes from gas has dropped, obviously, and we're making it up buying it somewhere else.
Yes. Yeah. So right now we're buying off the market to make up for
At market rate.
Yeah, and it's.
Yeah, what's
You want to hear the
Has it gone down?
so
Tell
gas
us.
gas
Went
pricing
down.
is under $2 a decatherm right now,
Wow.
which is
that's-
insane. It's
I know.
it has never been that
Yeah.
low in the summertime. So I'm thinking, well, we're guessing that it's solar that's on right now, and just all the natural or the green resources that come on during the day have kept those low for some reason. I'm not sure. We've never seen it like
the market
we have-
is
So
driving
what
it.
what I'm trying to get to is if the price is low, would it be cheaper just to fix it so because we would save money by getting more electricity from it?
Yeah, so I mean, we have gas purchase for one, so we would love to get one more turbine running for this summer, hopefully. But what it does is, yeah, it's a peaking resource for us. Those are our peakers, and it just helps us get through that. And we go from, say, 50 to 60 megawatts in the wintertime, then we peak at 100 megawatts. So we have to fill that 50 megawatts of swing with whatever we can, and we usually take 33 megawatts of gas that we can generate, that we plug that in. We bring back some IPP usually, 10 megawatts usually. So we try to fill that up, but it's kind of tricky. But yeah, so the market pricing has been good to us this summer, which is good, so.
How much did we pre-purchase?
So we had enough to run 2 turbines
Okay.
for the summer. So, and we've done pretty good, but
Yeah, you guys are pretty spot on. Last
Yeah.
summer we were fine because we purchased so much,
yeah,
correct?
yeah, and we're good this year. We just need to get our other turbine back up and running again. Hopefully we'll have solar back in, and we'll get some pricing on what we can do. We might take some parts off unit 2 to put in unit 3 to get run. We'll have them here, I think, on Monday again, so we'll keep you posted, but that's one of the things that keeps me up at night. But not really, I mean, it's all good. It'll work out. Right now, it's working out okay because market pricing is good, so it's not hurting us. We bought gas at a little bit north of $3, and we sell it back at $1.85. So, but that was our hedge against, what might happen. But usually it's anywhere from at least $4 to $5 to $6 a decatherm this time of year, but $1.85 is just insane. So, but let's talk about our AMI project real quick. We are coming along really well. We've been working with IT and working with the water department, and we've got some gateways. That's what they install, and then the meters, that'll read the meters, and that collects it, and then it sends it to a central location. And what'll be nice when we get the project completely done is they'll be able to just turn a meter on and off from a computer, which is kind of awesome. And we'll be able to just really, so what will happen is, say the power goes at your house, we'll get a ding from the meter before you can even call us, like, oh yeah, let's send someone that way. And when you call, say, we're aware and we'll send some your direction. But you'll probably get a text, and we're working on a texting service right now, so.
And I probably won't even know we're out of power because I don't have lights on.
That works.
We
That
live
works.
like apartment people.
But we're hoping to maybe start installing meters in October.
In neighborhoods or in,
Well, we just talked about this today, we're gonna get together with billing and Brenda's finance and whoever's gonna be involved and try and figure out the best deployment. Because you have to kind of do route by route, and so we'll figure out what's gonna be the best thing to do, because we gotta do waters and power. We have to have power meters out before they can read the water, so it's gonna be a
right.
combined effort, so, but we're excited to be where we're at. And
You
then
can use my
Eunice,
house for as a guinea pig.
yeah, we'll get one, we'll get one there for you.
Be a guinea pig.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a meter in Brenda's office that's churning away right now, so our meter guys can pull it up on the computer and read it, so
Oh,
we're getting there. They're doing some programming with Munis right now to get to billing to where it can work together with our AMI metering, so yeah, that's an awesome project we're working on, so we're excited about that.
Once you start in October, how long will it take then?
So we're gonna try and do it as much as we can without overtime, so during working hours, we'll see. Probably year and a half to 2 years realistically, maybe a little longer than that, so I hate to put a date out there, or a time frame, but
That's all right, give it a ballpark.
yeah, so let's say
We're not talking 6 months.
2 to 3 years, let's just say, 2 to 3 years, I think is realistic. And, we'll have a lot of people out in the neighborhoods putting meters on when that time comes, so.
Will the neighborhood be notified? I'm assuming so, right?
Yeah, we'll figure out a way
They'll
to.
just show up.
Yeah, well, maybe, we'll see.
oh, look, there's people out there. Hi.
Well, it's funny, you can knock on a door, no one answers, knock on a door, no one answers, go out, pull the meter, oh, someone's home. And I get it, I totally get it, but, we'll be friendly as much as we can, for sure, so,
You guys are always friendly.
well, we're trying, so.
Can we take you guys along when we go campaigning and nobody answers the door? Pull the meter, there's somebody home.
That's
So
a
you can
great
do that.
concept.
Well, in 3 years, we could just hit a button. Tell us yet. No, but yeah, we're excited about that project too, so. Then we got one more little update for you. Matt's gonna take this one for us, so.
So back in May, in the last quarterly committee of the whole update, we came before you and talked about the Transjordan landfill gas plant. That contract was scheduled to end in May of this year, and so it's taken us a little bit more time to renegotiate that. So we extended that until the end of September. And we wanted to give you an update on that we're still working on it. We're very close. We're still working through a few issues there, but not issues, but just the original company was that owns the landfill is a company called Granger out of the Midwest, and that's changed hands to a company called EDL Energy. And so we're taking a contract that was with one company and then putting that in a different format. But so GL's helping us weekly, if not daily, to work through that, and we're getting very close on that. So the next time we meet for this, we'll hopefully report back that that's finalized. So any questions on one thing we mentioned as well as we look into this, the Salt Lake landfill, even though it seems like we just renegotiated that contract, it turns out 2016 was not just a couple years ago, so.
That's crazy.
I think it's 2028 actually. I think it's 2028 when that is up. So we'll start that process sooner than later with renewing that one as well. So
They're awesome resources for us. We really
Yeah.
love our landfills, and I don't know of any other utility that has that resource in their mix like we do. So I'm grateful whoever had the foresight. I think it was Gary Merrill back in the day. It was kind of higher priced and kind of nobody. It was presented to UAMPS and he met with them after no one at UAMPS wanted it, and he met him in the hall and said, "Come talk to us. We're interested." And so he started that and he got that process going, and it was pretty amazing. So we're grateful to
Well,
have
we're
it.
like one of the only ones in the state, in the West.
Yeah. So the Western
Like,
US.
yeah,
very common.
Yeah, so for
it's not common at all.
No, for a landfill to qualify for this, they have to start with a lining. So they have to have the pre-planning to put this lining in to even be available to have the gas or the
Yeah.
methane gas capture. And so it's just some foresight on, or as whoever was able to do that with the landfill, was pretty impressive by itself. Because there's other landfills that love to do it, but they weren't set up
The
that
lining
way.
in the landfill or the lining in the
Actually,
where it's stored?
in the landfill has to be lined to begin with.
Because of the methane, because it's so,
Yeah.
it could be explosive.
And that's just part of the process through, I don't know if it's EPA, I don't know exactly what, but that was just part of the process that has to be done first. So, but yeah, that's a excellent resource to have, both those.
But our contract with Truckee, is that done or is that
We are really
next
close,
after this?
well, so we're renegotiating that as well.
Okay,
They want to buy our RECs.
right.
And so
Stop
that's,
Yeah.
and we'll start taking that back, we'll start, what we were selling to them will now come back to us. But they are willing, they want to, well, we have a little sliver gonna probably be going to them so that we can keep the RECs,
Right,
the sales with them. We haven't done that before with them, but they're very interested in our green tags.
yeah,
So that'll be a plus
yeah.
It'd give us the option to sell as much as we would want to them
Yeah.
if we want to.
for now,
Keep that flexibility.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Well,
That's-
thank you.
That's been one of my biggest things in this whole conversation
Yeah,
with Truckee and Trench
Yeah,
Jordan.
yeah,
'Cause I
we're-
think it's a service that we have that we should be able to provide to our residents
Agreed.
as well, so.
Yep.
I just wanted to say for an FYI, Greg and Matt, and it was their decision, but they meet with GL every week now
That's
and
awesome.
go over, and I don't know if we ever did that much before with the power department, yeah. I don't
You guys
know.
probably have a lot going on.
So anyway, there's
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's just kind of, so we have a legal perspective, and those guys every week are with him, so.
That's good.
That's great.
Which makes me feel good, so.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Okay, we're on to number 2, discussion item. Discuss a resolution authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding that may include law enforcement personnel from federal, state, local, tribal, territorial law enforcement agency for the purpose of locating, apprehending fugitives. Chief Burnett.
Here I am. And you just read the whole thing.
And we're done.
That's exactly what we're here
Okay,
for.
so now we're,
So what it is the marshal's office has a task force that local agencies can be part of. We have in the past, but we haven't been recently, so we're just wanting to get back involved with them. What that entails is that we have a couple of detectives that work for us. They don't go there, it's not like we're sending them away, they just get the credentials and what they need, and they work with this task force so that if we have people we need to find, and this is all that they do is go out and look for people. It's not like any other type of investigation. They have resources that we can use and we utilize, and so our guys, our detectives would work with other detectives in the marshal's office and helping them find their people and them helping us find ours. So it's just a joint operation.
Any cooperation is good.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost us anything, we pay our own people, but you know, sometimes you're looking for some really bad, this is for not just,
Fed.
this is the violent offenders is who they're looking for. And so they have resources and
Murderers.
stuff that we don't have and can help us track them down through electronic, whatever, the feds have all kinds of stuff.
Historically, how many people has Murray found? I mean, I
You
feel
know-
like we found some big
It's-
name hitters.
It's
I'm having-
surprising that without coming up with any, but back when they used to have America's Most Wanted on, we picked
Quite a few people.
up a handful
I believe.
over the years just because you stumble on them or something and you think this one was on.
Was it
with
Ted Bundy also found? Or
Ted
they
Bundy.
say-
Ted Bundy. The case that got him arrested was him trying to kidnap Carol Durange at Fashion Place Mall.
Oh, that's right.
The only living witness, because he did not. She got away from him there at 59th and by McMillan Elementary and
Yeah.
ran away. So,
Okay.
yeah, we did some interesting things, just like everybody else. So
Yeah.
it's good to have help.
Yeah.
So that's what this is about.
Okay.
Any questions?
I don't.
Okay.
I know.
It's a
Need all
good
this.
thing.
And anything we can get to help us, that's always good. So thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, we're on a discussion, a resolution approving a multi-jurisdictional agreement between Murray City and South Salt Lake City for building inspection services. Phil Markham.
And
Welcome.
thank you. This is very similar to what Chief was just talking about. In the last legislative session, the Senate Bill SB 185 dealt with residential building inspection amendments, and it requires the city to provide building inspection services within 3 business days of an application. And if you can't, then the applicant may engage a third-party inspection firm. And so, in order to avoid that, if, any unforeseen circumstances came up and we had a crush of inspections and we couldn't get to those, we want to avoid the applicant picking their own inspector. That doesn't make sense, that's putting the wolf in the hen house, And so,
Only imagine what would.
there have been several cities that have gone together and we were contacted, I believe we were contacted, or we contacted South Salt Lake City and Draper City. And I actually have the 2 agreements from those 2 cities with Murray as the additional party. They have signed their agreements already. So they are waiting for Murray to approve our end for these to be fully executed agreements. And it really is very simple. We still pay our own guys, they would pay their own guys.
Okay.
It's just it's a courtesy arrangement that we agree to help out neighboring cities in a pinch. And I don't see any downside to it at all, to be very honest with you. And obviously, they don't either because they have already signed the agreement that you have.
And this was brought to, the legislators started this because they felt like the inspection wasn't going fast enough
Yeah.
for them, and that the governor wants these houses, or whatever they want these houses,
Yeah, they're trying to
townhomes
remove
out.
obstacles to getting
Yeah.
houses built faster.
Yeah.
And the home builders, I think, are the ones that came up with this. And they
Yes.
said, and it's not really in Murray, and I don't believe it's really in Salt Lake County, to be very honest with you. It's the outlying communities where it's very difficult to get inspections, or they only have one inspector and they have to travel great distances and so forth. But once again, in their wisdom, they applied it to everybody in the state.
Yeah.
And so we're just covering our bases and making sure that we're prepared in the event that something like this is needed.
Does this help mitigate the having to hire a new inspector?
It
Conversation
would,
we've
yes,
had for a
yes,
long time.
it would.
Okay,
We do utilize right now a third-party inspector. We have a contract with a company called Shones Coda that provides an inspector for us. And related to that, we had our second interview today for a building inspector. So we're quite confident that we'll be offering a gentleman a building inspector job. And if we're able to bring him on, then that would ease the requirement of us having to depend on a third-party inspector as well. So, yeah, we're optimistic on that.
That's awesome.
Having this person being looked at for Murray, that will save us money instead of going out to this other business to,
It depends.
because we have to pay for that other person to come into
we
Murray,
pay,
correct?
we pay an hourly rate for that other person,
Right.
but we don't pay benefits and retirement
Okay,
and all that
got
other
it,
stuff, so,
got it. Yep,
you know.
okay,
But we are in need of a third inspector.
Yeah.
We've been without a third inspector for many years.
Yeah.
And it's been a priority of mine that we emphasize trying to get someone on board and we're
Hard to get an
optimistic.
inspector, huh? I mean, it's been
Yeah.
tough.
Everybody wants to hire inspectors right now. There's a shortage in almost any city that you would contact.
There's been a shortage since I've been on the council.
Yeah.
Since the
I'll be
beginning.
curious if some of this business that you work with, if those inspectors will start coming into the city. Nope, Brenda's back there going, man,
It
ain't
just,
gonna
you
happen."
know, they do third party for different reasons, you know? We've actually approached the gentleman that works with us on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And he's happy doing what he's doing, so I don't, you know, to each their own.
Well, there you go.
Okay, so
All right.
really, I know we've got two items here, you know, one for South Salt Lake
You
and one
want
for
me to
Draper
read it
City, but
again,
they
number
are
4?
identical agreements. Just
It's the same, so you don't want, I don't need
Cooperation
to.
is good.
I agree. Any questions on them?
No,
Okay,
it's good, it's good. Thank you.
okay.
Okay, we're on to number 5, American Public Power Association, APPA, conference reports. Diane Turner, Rosalba Dominguez, you each have 5 minutes.
All right, I'll start. Okay, Rosalba?
Yeah, I'm reporting next week. Yeah, just because I
Okay,
was
so
traveling.
next week she will be reporting.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Great, go ahead, Diane.
So now you have to take 10 minutes.
I'll go 10
I
minutes
will
next
bore
week.
the heck out of you guys.
It was so much information. It was good information, this conference.
Yeah, it's always good. I think it's such an important conference. It was June 7th through 12th in San Diego. I'll tell you, let's see, one of the pre-conference things was really good. And so I got an extra handbook, and it's for policymakers, and we are, for all intents and purposes, the board, that the governing board for the power department, because we don't have anything else. So it's so important that we have an understanding. Anyway, I will give this to Jennifer, and it's available for whoever wants to take it, but it's really good. And it just tells you how to be a governing board on, yeah, it's really good. And then the governance 201, and that's the board development strategies and techniques. I also got this, and this was really, really good, and I'll give that to Jennifer as well. I have copies of those, and so if you have any, just wanna know some specific information, they're really good. All right, then I'll tell you what I attended and really bore you. Should we own or purchase renewable energy? And that's the expansion of energy tax credits to include electric aid, aka direct pay has changed the equation on renewable energy projects for public power. Anyway, that was interesting. Some of these are above my head, and that's why I keep going, and then I get
It
getting
changes
a little
so
more
much.
knowledge, and yeah, they're amazing. And then I went to the Light Up Navajo reception, which was really good. Rosalba, you were there. It was really cool. Mayor was there.
It was neat, huh?
It was so good. Yeah, gave me the chills, and we got a T-shirt. So that was beautiful. Let's see, others, I circled everything in there too. The path to decarbonization, you kind of get a theme, what I attend. Various paths of public power utility that have goals to decarbonize their operation, learn what's motivating their goals, where they are making progress, and where they are facing speed bumps along the way. Discuss how to align transition timelines and with technologies available, developing your EV readiness plan, lessons from Paducah, Tennessee, and they are really
Oh, yeah.
killing it.
They did an RFP, they did like a whole study. That was the one we were together.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Let's see, anyway, there were others, but anything else you guys wanna know?
No, that's,
It
do you
was,
have anything
it's
to
always a
add?
worthwhile, they were there.
Do you have anything to add, Wayne?
Just the no light up no hose.
I
That
know.
was amazing. I
That's
mean,
good.
was so
With a
cool.
great spirit there when you have these people come in that haven't had electricity, and you're going, how does that happen
Yeah.
right here in the United States, or just a few miles from us, and
Yeah.
hear the stories that one gal, the first thing you use, you were all going like, we were waiting for her to say the internet, it was a hairdryer. That was the first thing.
Curling iron.
Curling iron, sorry, thank you. That was the first thing that she tried that she hadn't been able to do. So just some cool stories, and I'm looking forward to be able to do that every year.
Yeah, it was a good conference as always, and little by little, I mean, it just kind of really makes sense, but it's tough. I mean, it's information that is so important for us to understand. It was good.
Okay,
So thank you for allowing me to go. I really appreciate that.
thank you, Diane, and we'll hear from Rosalba next week.
Yes.
Thanks. Okay, so now we're on a discussion about short-term rentals with Phil Markham and GL
It's
Critchfield.
actually with you guys, not
Oh, well, okay, well, we'll cross you off. You guys have 30 minutes.
A lot of that's gonna
You
be
guys
on
have
you
30
folks.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. You wanna start, Chief?
No, please go ahead.
Well, you know, I know as you're all aware, a moratorium on short-term rentals was passed by the council at the last meeting. And that is a 180-day window for us.
Which takes us to what date, final date?
So it's 166 days as from today.
Okay.
We lost 14 days.
Okay,
It has to be in place by January 20th, meaning
okay,
that's the day it expires.
okay.
We actually have to be back with an ordinance well before then.
And what's well before, what's the?
So it's a good question. So if you look at the calendar, if you have one in front of you,
I do.
on your phone,
Hold on.
whatever. And if you remember that December is a little touch and go with meetings,
Right,
but you may have one December 3rd, right? That may be your last chance to actually pass an ordinance, but before that, it has to go to the planning commission. So you're really looking for something in the area for the planning commission October, like October 17th.
holy moly.
And then that would come into possibly November for a discussion and possibly December, the first meeting in December for a decision. And if nothing is passed, then it opens back up come January 20th and they can apply without any regulation. So we're really under the gun.
Those that want,
Yeah,
their
anybody
house.
who wants to do
Got
it,
it.
yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yep. So it's a
Alrighty.
tight timeframe for,
very, because
Yeah.
we're almost into September. I'm
You think
sorry,
of
but
100
August is gone for
you
me.
think of 180 days as the time you actually have, but you really don't.
Yeah,
And, you know, we really need to start having some pretty intense discussions about this. It's a complex issue.
very.
And I do have some material that I will provide to Jennifer after the meeting. I'm gonna concentrate today just on an abbreviated version of the pros and cons of short-term rentals. And I want you to know that I don't have a hard and fast recommendation for you at this time. That's for you folks to decide, and there are pros and cons for each one. As we talked about it as a staff, you know, we can see both sides. And so finding how best to manage short-term rentals in a jurisdiction is a very complex task for municipalities, both large and small. You know, on one hand, they can boost economic benefits, they can raise concerns about how the community will be impacted in the long run as well. So for every benefit, there's a deterrent. And just to give you an idea, the benefits of short-term rentals. They're a great way to bring in additional tax revenue that doesn't tap into your residential tax base. If they are regulated and if we get them registered and if we get them licensed and we get the revenue coming in. That's the key. It requires a lot of regulation. Short-term rentals also provide a source of income for homeowners, particularly in areas with high demand for short-term accommodations. That is one issue that Murray City, I don't view us as a resort, or destination town. We are
But
not.
could you see it in the Olympics in 10
Sure.
years?
Sure, but that's 10 years. So, in the meantime, as I say, a lot to consider. But yes, you are right. When the Olympics are here, leading up to that, I think everything is probably up for rent, legally or illegally. Another benefit of them is that it offers homeowners the flexibility to utilize their properties on a greater level, providing an additional income stream and enabling them to monetize their assets. This can be particularly beneficial for families who own second homes or have spare rooms. Short-term rentals can offer a way for homeowners to offset the cost of their properties and make better use of their investments. So as a homeowner, yes, it is a way to make more money. There is a benefit to it if you have the space or if you have the additional home. The third pro that I have is that they can attract more visitors, including those who prefer the comforts of a home-like setting over traditional hotels. Many people do prefer to stay in a home setting rather than in a hotel now with the advent of these short-term rentals. A lot of business people seek that out. They're more comfortable in a home-type environment. Now we'll go to the challenges with short-term rentals. Number one, accurate identification is a fundamental part of any short-term rental management program. But without the help of software, gathering the information needed to make data-driven decisions can be very challenging. And you need to identify them, you need to track them, you need to get them in, get them registered, and you need to monitor them with enforcement.
Which is gonna cost.
Sure.
Can I pause you there? It's very up. So explain to me the state law. We can't use an Airbnb site as like a tracking mechanism.
No, so
Because that's free speech.
No, that's not true. So what was happening before, were people were being cited for advertising.
Okay,
You can't cite for advertising, but you can use it as evidence.
okay.
Now, there are companies out there that will identify them for you and provide you the tracking information as well, so you can
Salt
use
Lake
a
City
third party
just-
to do that.
There's, to give our council some background, they have a software cost them $40,000 a year. So that gives us some numbers if we go down that road.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's based on the number or,
Yeah,
I
theirs
don't know.
is, their
There are
estimate was
multiple
40,000.
softwares out there, yeah, and, the last point I have in this, disadvantage is, identification's not as simple as adding up listings on websites. Yeah, you do need to track them, and you need a comprehensive database. Number two is, short-term rentals could bring potential for disruption to neighborhoods. Allowing short-term rentals to operate without establishing guidelines can lead to disruption in residential neighborhoods, particularly if there is inadequate regulation and enforcement. Without proper planning, good neighbor practices, and the availability of community support in the form of a short-term rental complaint hotline, such as noise, parking congestion, transient visitors, all of these things can disrupt the sense of community and quality of life for your permanent residents.
And garbage.
So that, they're just overall, there is a need for definite regulation to guide these, and you've got to enforce that regulation. And so, and it also states that short-term rentals can result in the loss of historic community value as well, if they totally disrupt the vibe in a neighborhood, basically. And let's see, the last one, regulating short-term rentals can be complex, time-consuming task for local municipalities. Implementing effective regulations to address rapidly evolving concerns around safety, taxation, zoning, and neighborly conduct requires careful planning and resources. Enforcement can be a significant administrative burden for local governments, many of which are already significantly understaffed when compared to the private sector. So whatever we decide, this article stresses that it be made with careful consideration, that regulations are quickly changing in different communities. They have to be flexible as well. We have to continue to monitor this and adjust things. It's not a one-time, one-fix-all deal. It's a big complex issue. And we need to strike a balance between the interests of various stakeholders.
I also understand that studies have shown that it jacks up the prices of property.
Yes, and that's one of my major concerns, is that in this housing shortage that we have right now, it does take potential housing off the market. And I'll give you an example. I had a family reunion this last weekend, and I went with my brother to visit an aunt that lives here in Murray. She lives on Knollcrest. I don't know if you know where Knollcrest is. It's just east of Hillcrest Junior High. Okay.
Yep.
She lived there her whole life. The neighborhood was built in the late 50s. So it's not a starter community per se, but they're more reasonably priced homes. They're smaller, sturdy brick homes. She said that the home next to her is a short-term rental, and the home 3 doors down on the other side is a short-term rental. And to me, that just says, why don't we have young families in those homes? I think there's a much greater benefit to that. When we can't build those types of homes right now, we don't have the room for them. And yet they're tied up in corporate.
Transients, just transient,
Yeah.
So,
neighborhood.
Yes, sir.
Do we have an idea of how many homes are currently being used for short-term rentals?
I can't put stock in the number. I was told one time that there were 400 listed on the websites, but I can't vouch for that.
And we did do I remember Melinda had hired somebody to get that number, is that
Okay.
correct? I think,
Probably
yeah.
so. That's
That
probably
she
where
had
the
hired
number
a
came from.
service and then we were presented with that information.
Yeah.
But that was,
Was
that 2 years
I did a
ago?
little bit of my own searching this
Okay.
past week,
And what did you find?
Yes.
I came out about 350 is what I
Okay.
could count from the different services that do this.
Yeah, and some of them list on multiple sites too, so it's difficult to
Yeah.
get a truly accurate number as well.
And that's money that we're not getting, correct?
No.
No, we do get some. Brenda has indicated that we do get some transient tax from short-term rentals.
Okay.
Do we know how much we get, like percentage wise?
We get, all of the companies have made a deal with the state, and so they pay the appropriate sales and transient
they
room
can-
tax. Although those houses are probably listed as residential, so we're probably getting a little bit of gypped on the property tax, but it's not.
So they're receiving a homeowner exemption.
They might be receiving the homeowner exemption, but then again, they might be living there most of the time.
It could be
if we had them licensed to change how much we get in taxes,
No.
like, 'cause,
Not in sales tax.
So let me just throw an example out there, just so I can understand a little bit better. I make pizzas on Fridays. People come to my house and eat pizza at my house on Fridays. It's a fun thing, drop by anytime.
I've never been invited.
How many times have I mentioned it, right?
We are now,
You're
Fridays.
If I were to say, I wanna start selling pizzas on Friday from my house. Fridays and Saturdays, I'm gonna sell pizzas from my house. Would I be able to legally do that from a residential neighborhood?
You would need a home business license, first of all. And I don't know if that qualifies, because if you're preparing food, you're subject to health department regulations as well.
Yeah.
So there's a whole list of things that you would have to, abide by in order
But
to
you
do
see where I'm
that
going with the
legally.
comparison, right?
Sure.
So if I'm only doing it 2 days a week, would that affect my homeowner's exemption for my home being a resident bid, Yeah, it just, there's such cloudy area
Yeah.
there that I
That's
just,
the county. I could tell you that right now.
Yeah.
It would be a county health thing.
Yeah.
The regulations are very complex when you're dealing with homeownership.
Home business, yeah.
Well, to spin off your idea, could I rent out my driveway or my garage?
No.
For my pizza?
Yeah, or store, just rent out my
I
garage.
suppose
No,
so.
you can't.
No, no.
Can't do either of them.
So I have a question. What happens now? If we have in there, you know, we have an Airbnb that's violating noise ordinance or whatever,
That's how we regulate it.
what happens now?
That's really how
So-
we regulate it.
So if I call
Nuisance or noise.
nuisance or noise ordinance, or if there's too many people,
It's treated like any other single family residence.
okay,
Police would
so,
come,
mhm,
tone down, that's about it.
okay. I wasn't sure if there was any regulations now.
No, because we have always told them that we don't allow them,
Right.
but yet we don't have a statute to back us up in that.
So could there be a situation where we have an ordinance where if there, let's say there, and I'm just talking this out, where we have an ordinance where there's a situation that the house is having X amount of nuisance complaints and that we hold their, is it their, what do we do when somebody doesn't clean their yard? We hold their, like,
Oh, we find them, like.
we can find them, but
Yes.
we can also
You mean
hold
like a lien?
their, a lien,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So
Could
we're
you do a
only-
lien
no,
on
we're
it-
only
on
allowed to
those?
lien what the statute, what the statutes allow us to lien.
Oh.
They don't.
We couldn't write our own code and say, let's put a lien on this house?
No.
We couldn't.
No.
Not
At
for-
all,
Not
okay.
for like that.
I'm just
type of
asking,
thing.
Yeah, it's a good question.
I don't know if that's something to kind of combat
See,
this.
if people
or
don't
if
take
other
care
cities
of their
have-
yards, and it gets to a point where it's deemed to be totally out of compliance and they're not responsive to our pleas to get it cleaned up within a certain amount of time, then we will hire someone to go in and take care of that. Then they are sent the bill.
Yeah.
And if they do not pay that bill within a reasonable amount of time, then the amount of the cleanup can be leaned on the house.
Oh,
But it's
leaned
a
on the
long
house. It's, yeah,
and taxing process.
and how many times do we really take them all the way through?
We do have a few.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just thinking
I was just curious.
that we should have a workshop on this. I do not want to rush through this. I want everyone to do the research. I know Paul has sent me 2 articles already. I'm using them like a menu, what I like, what I don't like. I've also have received 4 emails from citizens. I like to pull what they have and what's working for them and what's not working for them. I just feel that we've got to get this right. And it's for the future. And the future, to me, is the Olympics. And we just have to have something in place because I have it in my neighborhood.
Sure.
And so I would really like to have some kind of workshop
Yeah.
and invite Chief Burnett and your department, anybody.
Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, chamber, if they
Yeah.
wanna come.
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't want to rush through this. I want everyone to come in and bring in their thoughts and then we can delve into it. And then we can pick and bring something to you. And then you can say, this is what I'm giving you now after what you give to me. And that's what I would like to do. But then again, I'm only one voice, but everybody else can.
The other piece of information that I'll be providing to Jennifer is from the National League of Cities. They have done a study on this, and they have several different cities that have gone through this process that they highlight in here, and they talk about the key things that you need to consider when considering regulations. And so it's all about short-term rental regulations. It's not necessarily the pro and con like I just presented tonight in a brief discussion. But this is a very thorough discussion and shows you what other cities have done.
Yes.
And I will tell you that the process that they recommend is a lengthy process.
It is, after reading the one
Because
that
of
Paul
all the-
sent
all
me
the
from
stakeholders you
Texas
have to involve.
Texas.
and Arizona, was it the other one, Arizona?
Santa Cruz, California.
Santa Cruz. I was like, oh, holy moly.
Jennifer will be able to email this to you.
But
You
they're
know, printing it
vacation
out
cities
is
as
far
well,
too small.
so
They're
Yeah.
what?
They're vacation cities.
Well, no,
So
Texas,
that's-
no, Texas one, they gave different cities. They gave different cities of how they are handling it. And same with Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz, yes, it's a vacation, but I'm sorry, but
I think
people
one
come to
thing-
Murray to go skiing during the summer, well.
Well, I think one thing
Winter.
we're also not talking about and is we have a hospital with a lot of residents that utilizes these short terms for long term. And when they are listed, they can be short term or long term depending on the owner, right? And that's a housing stock we haven't really like tapped into. And when I do have conversations about housing development, I mean, they're wanting to be where they're working as well. And so I know a lot of doctors and residents who utilize Airbnbs. I'm not saying I'm pro or against, but we have potentially a second building coming in that's gonna house more doctors and the medical staff, and they want to be close nearby. And I'm not saying we just don't talk about them
Sure,
enough in
no, like I told you,
conversations,
there are, it's pro and con on both sides, and I think what you'll also find as this discussion moves forward, the industry is going to have a very large presence in any discussion that you have.
Oh, yeah.
They will mobilize, they're very organized, they have millions of dollars in assets at risk here, so you are going to get a lot of communication from the industry itself.
They didn't
I
get
think
this
based
far
on
for
Rosalba's
nothing.
statements, we ought to be inviting representatives from the hospital to this workshop,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
So they
I
can talk
mean,
about the
I
effect
guess
that it has on them.
my goal, I guess we need to find out what the goal is of the workshop. Is it to have two items, right? Pass, pro and con? What information are we gathering? I mean, we can invite them, but we can gather that data
So
without
I
them
think,
too.
I think what you really wanna focus on
Education.
is
Yeah.
what the options are.
Right,
And once you find the options, try to fit what you want into those options. So for example, do you want to ban them? Do you want to have them only in certain places? Do you
zoning,
want to have the ones like when the original draft came back in 2021, there was those that were considered lived in by the owner and they were renting out a portion of it, and those that were not being lived in, that were just standalone. And do you want those? So it's a matter to me of, it's really simple. What options do you want us to draft?
Yeah.
And then you discuss and you decide and we move forward.
can we?
Can do owner occupied, right?
Mhm.
Yes. And to GL's point, if we don't narrow down the options, we'll
Oh,
we'll just spin our wheels.
But what happens with the stock that we already have?
We'll deal with that.
Okay. Is
That's
that,
a good question.
Already, what?
what happens with the 350 that we
I don't know
already
if your
have?
grandfather or what.
Yeah.
So for now they are.
Yeah, for now, yeah,
Because we
yeah,
don't
cause we don't
have
have
anything.
anything.
We'll have to kind of.
Right.
But that's something we can deal with down the road as well.
Okay.
So I think it needs to be sooner than later.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
yes,
sure.
We can't.
I think we need to get some,
Yeah.
I
We
don't
need some
think-
real data.
I don't think we're in a place to have a workshop, because right now, if we have a workshop, we're just gonna sit there and look at each other. We need to have, as they're saying, we need to have some options
Yeah.
and kind of some agreement between the five of us, of what options we wanna go with. And then at
And
the
workshop
workshop,
that.
we need to workshop the options into the minutia and get into the weeds at the workshop.
So define the objective. In other words, what's our goal? Why are we doing this?
First off, where are we? Like, do
Yeah.
we wanna ban, do we wanna go in between, do we wanna go allow with licenses? I think that's our first step, is where do the five of us wanna go?
Well, here's some things that came up
How
for
can we do
me,
that
was
separate?
we're gonna need and possible needs are looking at software, the cost of software, staffing to help regulate it, right? Who regulates it? Do we have a hotline? Do we not have a hotline? Do they just call in to code enforcement? Zoning and planning, like is it a zoning thing? Are we only allowing it in certain areas? And also licensing.
Right.
Are we gonna require licensing and are there gonna be fees?
Yeah.
Those are all things that we
Yes. That is
And which
correct.
department enforces it? Are we
Right.
sending it to police? Is it CED? Like, who enforces this?
See, and I don't think people are gonna call this, I
I
don't
said,
think
I
people
think
are
Craig
gonna
just
call in
volunteered.
because they're afraid that their name is gonna be attached to that. And then their neighbor is gonna come after them. Seen it, done it, been there. And I just think that neighbors are not gonna call in on neighbors.
But I think if we have some frame,
Sure.
and that can help with the narrative to eliminate some of that.
Yeah, they're,
Yeah, I think, I would hope. Yeah.
but,
I think the most important thing is what GL said. If
Oh.
you have to come up with, how do you want to how do you want to categorize them? what's your aim? And then you build the regulations around that.
That's where
You
do
can't consider all these options and try to build regulations around each one of them.
Okay, the time is slipping, so what's our next option? Where does the
I would like,
the next step?
right, I would like you to consider meeting,
Individually?
no.
Oh.
Together.
Okay.
To talk about it,
Okay,
to throw out our ideas.
perfect.
Have Jennifer synthesize them.
Okay,
But I think we need to meet together. I mean,
Okay,
we can
perfect.
each do it.
Well, I
But
think
yes,
what I would
not
like
the best.
to know what the housing type stocks are. Like, what type of Airbnbs are there? Is there short term? Is there long term? I mean, I know there's
Well, no,
different
they're all
definitions.
short term, you know,
Okay.
by definition, they're less than 30 days, that's a
Okay.
short term rental.
Okay.
And we have information that we
Yeah.
should be provided, so.
So I was gonna say, I have all the old information, I don't know if it's helpful.
I think it
Yeah,
gives us.
I
some
wanna see
understanding.
that,
I know some of you have it, I don't know if all of you do, but I'm happy to send that
Yeah, I
out.
remember when we
Yeah.
went through that process,
I feel-
but we need to
Yeah.
all be able to talk together and then
Cause I would like to know
synthesize
what
it.
housing types are being used too.
Yeah.
Are we looking at 5,000 square foot homes, or are we looking at 700 square foot homes?
Yeah.
And like, where's the breakdown?
Yeah, that's another.
Mayor, you had something.
Sorry.
I think I like the idea that Adam's about the workshop not right now, because I wouldn't want our employees coming into something where we have all the doctors, the
Okay,
chamber,
Yeah,
and all that
No.
coming in. I'd rather
Yeah.
have it, like, you all get it all done first, and then we'll have them.
yeah,
I
yes,
would
that's what I, yeah.
Yeah.
Like what Kat did with the big piece of paper that one morning when we were in the old city hall and she wrote out ideas.
Well, I
And
was
I
gonna
just, I just remembered
I
that
was
so
gonna-
vividly.
suggest, I think there's still a lot to talk about, and I don't know if GL and Phil would be like the right people to talk about this. If we want to meet individually before we do the workshop, because I think there's a lot of information that we all have. But collectively, you can, from that, you can gather what the workshop could be.
Okay, so just,
That just extends the process.
if you go back to what we talked about at the beginning with the calendar, you
We
mean
don't have a lot of
tonight,
time.
Yes.
the 13th would be next week.
Yep.
Mm.
And then you're to September.
Yep.
2 meetings in September, 3rd and the 17th.
Yep.
And then October 1st, and we'd really like to have something with the planning commission October 17th if possible, so you're really
That's why as a group.
No, I don't
Seventeenth
think,
and 17th in September. We don't have-
September.
Yeah, we have,
yeah,
Oh,
So
okay, changed it.
I think it would be good to have kind of a direction by the 10th of September if that's possible.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can we dedicate the next committee of the whole to this?
We have quite a bit on our agenda already.
Are there things that can't be?
Is it
But we
short?
do have an RDD
What
meeting.
Mm.
Can we
I
dedicate
think
a
we
committee?
need to get together.
We'd have to do a
I
special
think we do
meeting,
too, but I
so
think we just don't know where we're at.
I know, that's why we need to get, and then we have to synthesize it and then.
You're looking at the first part of September.
I don't have a problem sitting down with, if Phil and GL, and doing individual meetings, we can get those in probably the next week.
Sure.
If you guys wanted to go
We're
that
gonna
route.
need time for you.
But what
Yeah.
good is individual meetings gonna do?
I don't know.
I mean,
Well, we're not
Well, I
discussing
can put all the
it.
'Cause
notes
I-
together, like you're
I've just
saying,
got this-
put everything together and send it out to everyone. This
Yeah.
is what everyone said. And then we could still have a workshop. I don't know what the best way to do it is.
I just think
We
we
could send you a
need to
direct
do,
email and you could synthesize our ideas. And then we
Yeah.
don't have to have a meeting.
right,
There's that
I
too.
think we need to work together as a group, talk about it,
I think we're gonna do that anyways. I think why I'm
process.
saying is there's a lot of information. There's a lot of things that could be said in the public's view or not, right, in terms of how we discuss this. But I would like us to come together and band together and feel confident in that decision. And when we do it, so whether it's, I would feel more, I mean, I'll take the time to meet with you beforehand because there's a lot of questions that I have in the air. But I don't feel like we should invite all these outside folks to
No,
give
I
us
don't either.
information either.
That's
No,
not what I-
yeah.
So it almost
We're
sounds
all
like we,
agreeing on
it
that.
almost sounds like we need
No.
to have 2 workshops, what you're advocating.
Right.
One where we just kinda lay out our options, pick the road we wanna take, and then the second one where we go through the weeds. We're taking Route B. Route B means, what does that mean for enforcement? What does it mean for fines? What does it mean for yada, 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 yada.
I think we need to power map it for sure.
Yeah.
And then
we
the
could-
second
we
meeting
need
is
to
where
do
we bring
that
in
together.
staff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
That's
and then
what
we
I
could
would
probably do,
Individually.
I think we just
then-
need to power map it.
yeah, and we could do that first meeting, we need it done by the 3rd,
Yeah,
according to your deadline, right? So we said September 3rd.
It's, I
It's
guess
the
it's the
10th.
10th.
You're
So I
right.
just did the 3rd.
Let's do the 3rd.
I would recommend you do it on August 27th, quite
yeah,
frankly.
Okay,
cause then you have time,
I'd say the 20th, but some of you are at UAMPS that week, so.
not me.
Yeah.
The 27th?
Sorry, Greg.
is that in the morning or evening?
Is it what are you guys wanting, a workshop or a committee of the whole?
It's a workshop.
Yeah, it's gonna be a workshop.
So if it's a
gonna be- have
workshop,
to
it
be a
doesn't even need to
workshop.
be on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I say let's do a workshop and
Yeah.
let's do.
Are you
And I'm wondering, Adam, with school starting, if it would be better to do it.
And that's the X factor we have to talk about.
You
3 o'clock and
yet?
after,
You
it has to be
haven't
after 3 o'clock now,
Yeah.
so,
It's fine with me.
Unless you did it in the next week or so.
The 12th.
no,
We
by
could do
Friday, unless we did by Friday. My school schedule starts on Monday.
I was just saying, if it's a workshop, it doesn't necessarily need to be on a Tuesday, we could really
Yeah,
do it.
so if we, my schedule's more open through Friday, but, well,
And we
it's more
could-
open on Thursday and
We
Friday.
could meet at 3:30.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could be there
Paul,
at 3.
how's that for you?
I have no problem. Just give me the date so I can
the
make sure
27th.
that
He's in town.
Do you want the 27th
Yeah, I think
at
that's.
3:30?
27th.
Okay, and what
Okay.
information do you guys need ahead of
That's
that
what my
meeting?
next question was. So I think we need to look at,
No, it's a,
we need to know what options we have on the table. What are, I still think we're a little ambiguous about what does a ban look like? What does a hybrid look like? What does a full allowance? I think those are our first 3.
We need to
Those are
have
our
some
3.
cost factors.
Yeah, and I think we need to have some data on what do each of those look like and like maybe some examples of other cities who've done each of them and what are the impacts of them. I think some case studies on all 3 would be helpful.
I agree
Can
with
you
you.
two meet with us
Yeah.
on the 27th? Will that-
Sure. Yeah, 27th works.
so what, 3:30?
You don't have to.
So 3:30 on the 27th, is that okay with everybody? Diane, Rosalba, Adam,
Yeah.
Paul,
Okay.
Jennifer?
Yep.
And Patty? Okay, Phil, Mayor?
Yes, that's good for me.
Okay, so 3:30, August 27th. It's going to be just a workshop or a committee of the whole?
It's a workshop, so
Okay,
we won't be
okay.
live streaming it, it's just
Okay.
a roundabout table discussion.
Okay, I just wanna make sure I have it what it's supposed to be.
But it will be an open meeting to the public, so
Right.
they are welcome to come and listen.
Got it.
What's in the can?
Okay, 27th.
And we're free to meet with anybody between now and then if you'd like to.
And I'm
Well-
happy to meet with any of you too, and I'll send all that information to everyone, just make sure you all have it.
Okay, we are now adjourned and we'll see you
Thanks,
in
Phil.
about, I don't know, 25 minutes or so, 23, 24.
6:30 p.m. and I call this meeting to order. Welcome to the Murray City Municipal Council City Council meeting today, August 6, 2024. We're going to get started with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I've asked one of my neighbors, Zombahi Gambler, and my daughters, Andy Pickett, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Zombahi and Andy, for doing that. I appreciate you guys accepting the, you didn't have much of a choice assignment, but thank you for doing that. That's wonderful. We're going to get started by looking at the minutes from the July 9th meeting. And anybody have any comments or any changes that need to be made for that?
No.
Seeing there's none, I'll entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes for the council meeting of July 9th, 2024.
I second it.
We have a motion of approval and a second.
Ms. Cotter,
Aye.
Ms. Dominguez,
Aye.
Ms. Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Hawk,
Aye.
Mr. Pickett.
Aye. Thank you. All right, now we have the fun part of our council meetings when we get to recognize our employee of the month. And I think we should have that every week, right? Yeah. Well, we're going to have today a wonderful recognition to one of our employees, Robert Wise, from the Cultural Arts Amphitheater. And boy, he's got quite the crowd here. That's wonderful. Were we going to be going down, Mayor, for that? Or okay.
You have all this, and then this is. I didn't want you to lose it.
Robert, I've been involved with Murray City on the council or in my position now I've never heard that kind of an applause before, so you have a lot of fans or you paid a lot of people, but it worked. This is Robert Wise. Let me just tell you, Robert is our sound person over at the amphitheater and helping us with well, he helps with all the sound, but with the new theater coming up, he also helped with the sound out here. But I'll tell you what happened. Robert came over and did some stuff over here, so we thought, he's changed the speakers on this Christmas tree, and we thought, oh, good. And so Kim and I are sitting there, and I don't even know if you know this, Robert, but Kim and I are sitting there, and we're listening to the music, we're going, and Jeff's there, and we're going, where's Kim? We're going, oh, this sounds so much better. I can't believe how good it sounds. And Jeff says, yeah, we haven't changed them yet. So that shows you how good our hearing is, but anyway, but Robert has been with us 2 years? 2 years. He is one of the most awesome people on this earth. He makes sure our sound, and if anybody had the opportunity to go see Toast on Saturday, the sound was phenomenal. We do have a new system there, and it just sounds great. And so we have a couple other people to say some things, but I just wanted to thank Robert from the administration of how much we appreciate him. He's the kindest gentleman you've ever met. He gets things done, he knows how to get them done, and he's fast and reliable. So as far as we're concerned, he's well deserving of this, and we just want to give from the administration a big hand for Robert and all he does for us.
Thank you. So the mayor pretty much said it all, but let me just add a few things. So Robert is a part-time employee, and Robert's staff is all part-time employees, which they're all here. And if you look at the staff, you will know what I mean when I say that they're very young, they're youth. Some of them are in high school, some of them are started college with a plan of going into IT, technical, lighting as an occupation. But I guarantee you, they are learning more this year and working with Robert than they will ever learn in college or any kind of academic setting. And to give you an example, I've often said that the best way to tell how good a supervisor is to watch what happens when he or she is not there. So during Hunchback of Notre Dame, Robert was in Europe. And if you know anything about Hunchback of Notre Dame, it's a difficult play for lighting and tech. And after the play, I went up and said, "Hey, where's Robert?" I'd forgotten he was gone. You did not know Robert wasn't there. And then I also think it says a lot that they are here supporting Robert today. So Robert works in our Parks and Recreation Department in the Cultural Arts Division. None of us have the intelligence level to supervise Robert. We are thankful for what Robert does. Thank you.
It's my honor then to read to you the tribute that was written for you and why you received this award. Here's the reason for your recognition. Robert served on the Arts Advisory Board until he was asked if he wanted to run the tech booth at the amphitheater and was hired by Murray City. He has an amazing knowledge about sound and was the sound technician for the Oval in Kearns, the D-Day commemoration in France, America's Got Talent at Radio City Music Hall, volunteered for many years at Parkside Elementary's after-school musicals, and for many years has traveled the world with One Voice Children's Choir. That's incredible. That is incredible right there. Robert has been instrumental in bringing our amphitheater tech services up to a new level and has been involved in getting the best audio and visual equipment into the plans for the Murray Theater. He works tirelessly with the Cultural Arts Department. He is an amazing teacher to the youth that he works with at the amphitheater and has used his knowledge and work ethic mentoring them and providing them with an internship-like opportunity. Incredible work, and congratulations for that. We have for you a certificate that has been signed, says Employee of the Month with your name, and it has City Council and the Mayor's signature under for you. And we also have a gift certificate for you. So thank you so much for what you've done. We sure appreciate it. Thank you.
May I address?
Absolutely. Please address.
Thank you very much, and those who put my name forward for this, I greatly appreciate it. And if I may take a moment to address you. And anything like this, it's not really all about one person by any means, and I owe a lot of this first to my family. My brother and sister are here, as well as my dear wife, Lorraine, who recently retired as one of the division directors for human resources with the state, and was looking forward to spending a lot of time with me. And so to make up for that, she volunteers now with the county arts and helping with some of the venues there and ushering assignments, and occasionally also fills in our amphitheater when there's a need for some ushering and other support there. And so, first of all, she's the one that really allows me the time to do this and spend some long nights at the theater occasionally. Second is the wonderful crew that you have heard about, and I'd just like them to stand up so you could recognize them if you haven't already by their attire. They're Elena and Sophia Hutchings, Audrey and Sydney McEwen, and Levi Bach. And they have all been here. This is their second year working with us, so I think we're doing a few things right, and they've come back at least for another round with our amphitheater. I'd also like to thank Lori Edmonds, who kind of brought me into this and is one of the greatest people to work for and to work with, and her assistant, Katie Lindquist, great people to work with. So it's really a team effort, and with Bruce Hollyoak that handles the physical facilities and makes sure that the theater is looking wonderful all the time. I'd also like to thank, of course, Kim Sorensen
and the support that he provides. And I'd like to thank each of you as a city council for your support of the cultural arts and things here in the city, within the city. And certainly Mayor Hales, and I think your wife may have a little influence too on how our theater operates and the amenities there. So it's really about a team thing. It's about people serving one another to help Murray be a wonderful place to live. My wife grew up here. I can see why she wanted to come back to Murray. And we meet many other people that are here because this is a place that they have learned to love and enjoy the things that are here, including the amenities, the arts, the environment that's here. And that's what you help provide. And so thanks to each of you for your support of the Cultural Arts and Parks program here in Murray. And thank you for this great honor. I appreciate it very much. Could we, if I could ask your indulgence that we may be excused, because we've got a rehearsal that's running this evening for Peter and the Starcatcher. I highly recommend it. You'll really enjoy that show. Thanks again.
Thank you, Robert. And you and your team are excused. Thank you for coming, and thanks for the work you're doing. We now have the honor to hear from Greg Ballon and a wonderful project that took place just this past few weeks. So, Greg, let's hear about this.
Council, Mayor, thanks for letting us be here tonight. You've heard about Light Up Navajo, and we got to participate this year again, so thank you. And as I brought, introduce yourself real quick.
I'm Tyler Monteith.
Goes by Skip, but we have how many Tylers at our place now, but just know he actually got to participate in this, so I wanted him to be able to come and talk to you just for a few minutes, just to kind of give some input on this. But so if you Light Up Navajo started in 2019, we participated that first year. 529 homes have been connected between 2019 and 2023, and so in April, and we got to go out in June of this year, 2024. There are 48 utilities, 16 different states, and then the Navajo Tribal Utility Authority, their electric crews, they connected 170 homes this year, which I think is amazing. It still just breaks my heart that there's people in our country that do not have power to their homes. I don't know how that happens, but they're working hard to remedy that. But it's a process because there's a lot of red tape just to get the permits in this. So I'm going to let Skip come and talk as we kind of cycle through this, and then. These are the people that went, Jordan Hundley, Skip, Shane, and Justin Huggy. He goes by Huggy, but that's a picture of them right there. That's Huggy on the right. That's not normal attire, but they're driving. So they had how long did it take you to get there, Skip?
12 hours.
12-hour drive on a Sunday is when they left. So if you just think about this and then listen to Skip as he talks about his there, and we'll cycle through some of these pictures for you.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for the opportunity to go down to Light Up Navajo again. I believe Murray's done it 3 years now. So we started out driving down on it was actually a Saturday. We wanted to give them a full week. So that was about 12 hours to get there. The second day, we were in Arizona. We did an orientation, got to meet everybody. And then we picked up so Murray brought some trucks, and then the tribal authority will lease trucks for out-of-state people as well. And I drove one back, and it didn't have air conditioning, and it was 4 hours, and I was like, man, this is really hot, but there's people living without air conditioning. So that was a good intro. And then the first day we did a half a day, and we almost got a house powered up, but a monsoon shut us down for lightning and rain. They didn't think we'd be able to get out if we didn't leave right then. So the next morning we went back, finished the job, got that house in power, worked till about 10:30 or 11 that night, got another house into power. So I think we got 5 homes powered up. And then the next couple days we did what's called a community project, where we've got big, long lines that need to be built, and then shorter runs to power the homes. So we powered homes the first few days, finished out the week, and I believe we framed 60 poles in 2 days, and they'll frame those later. This was one of the homes that we powered. We're hanging a transformer there. That's Jordan in the air, and we were able to put a meter in. And then, yeah, we're connecting some more wires. And some of these roads, if you don't have four-wheel, even the four-wheel drives were getting stuck. They have special trucks that'll like air down their tires so they can float on the sand. There's, in addition to no power, there's no roads, there's no water, there's no gas. It's very remote, very rough work. The 17-hour day, it was 114, so it was a good time for all. But we got to work in Monument Valley, so, you know, a little sightseeing while we're down there. Yeah, it was a great project to be on. It was very rewarding, and the people were very appreciative when we would bring power to their house. So this picture was taken, if we can hang here for a second. This second to last day, they had an appreciation dinner for us where they cooked for us, and the people that got power were able to come and speak for a minute, and the gratitude, I've never seen somebody so happy to receive, you know, here in the city, your power's out for 2 hours and people are very upset, and these people were, you know, a lot of tears of appreciation. And in the back there with the turquoise necklace, she's running the program down there, and she was very appreciative of us and thanked the crews for coming down, but extended some thank yous not only to us, but to our families for allowing us to go, and to the other crews that were here in Murray, keeping the lights on here as well. To our management, she wanted me to thank the council as well for allowing us the time to go down and pitch in and help out, and it was a very rewarding experience, and they appreciate it. I think it was good for Murray to be down there pitching in and helping out, and yeah, I'll definitely do it again, and I think they're excited to have us back if you'll let us go again. So, any questions at this time, or it's kind of hard to sum up a week in just a few minutes. There's a lot of things happened. So no.
That one picture, if you go back a few slides, where it looked real stormy, keep going, right there. That's amazing picture. I like it because of the trucks and the storm, and you're up there doing electricity.
Yeah, yeah, we could see the lightning coming, and it was kind of a race between working safely, and we're watching the lightning roll in, and we're like, if we hurry up, we can get one house done today, so.
These are great pictures.
Do we know about how many homes still don't have power?
It's thousands.
It's a couple
Thousands.
thousands.
Yeah. I want to say 13,000, but that might be wrong.
13,000.
I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but it's a, Eric, do you know? 11,000 homes still out of power.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, so they've got,
I wish we could do more.
yeah, part of what, you know, it is so spread out. I think it's like 27,000 square miles or something, the reservation. It's massive. And so they've been able to do some fundraising to buy materials, but you can have all the materials in the world, but they're a smaller utility, so they can't very well pull 3 guys off of keeping the current lights on to go build. So when we can show up with just manpower and trucks and pitch in that way, it's a big help. Like just getting those 60 poles framed for them, I mean, they'll be able to, that'll keep them busy for a couple weeks, and that's one more stretch closer. And part of the reason they were so like in tears is their goal with the amount of people they've got out of power, and during their appreciation dinner, they were speaking about how their goal is to get power, you know, before the elders pass. It's not like end of the year, end of the month, like they want their grandparents to see lights. And then with that appreciation dinner, there was the one girl in scrubs. She's going to school in Albuquerque to be a nurse, but she's got 6 kids that are staying with her mom. And so by powering her home up, she was able to get a router and internet and study from home and be home and be with her kids. So air conditioning's really cool, TVs are nice, but allowing us to go and pitch in some help. It's really improving some quality of life and family time for the Navajo tribe, so yeah,
That's wonderful.
they loved it.
That's
So,
wonderful. Thank you for your report.
So this is a year ago, thanks Skip. This was presented, and we just found this. So can I read it real quick? Do I have
Yeah,
time?
definitely read it.
Okay. This is for the city of Murray. On behalf of grateful Navajo families, we extend deep gratitude to your community for supporting your electric line workers to participate in the 2023 Light Up Navajo 4 Mutual Aid Without a Storm initiative. Your community has improved the lives of over 150 Navajo families who have waited years, perhaps decades, for electricity. The success of this year's initiative could not have been accomplished without the backing of your community. By supporting this initiative, your community find a true humanitarianism, people helping people. And then there is some Navajo here that I can't read, but it's down here. It says, through your support, your line workers team brought grateful tears of joy to Navajo families. Today their homes shine much brighter. Many prayers have been answered with the support of your community. Thank you. Signed by the Navajo Nation President, NTUA General Manager Wally Hawes, Speaker of the Navajo Nation, Chairman, and then the APP Acting President, Jeff Haas. So anyway, just thank you so much. It's something that we're proud to be a part of, and it couldn't happen without your support and letting our crews go down there. Eric Bracewell, our Operation Manager, was able to go down, and it was very touching and just something that we're proud to be a part of. So thank you very much.
No,
Greg?
thank you, Greg.
Yes.
Were the workers that went down there volunteers? Is that how that worked?
Eric will ask who wants to go down, and Huggy, he's one of our foremen. He has volunteered. So, well, we're set to go in May, if that's okay with the council. We're going to try and go earlier this year instead of when it's a little cooler.
Idea.
But yeah, so he's gone 3 years and he's volunteered to go again. So
Wow.
he leads that, and I can't remember who else is thinking about going this year, but
2 years in a row.
Jordan's going to be there.
I think Peyton wants to.
Peyton, another, so I think it's 3 apprentices, right? And this is excellent training, so they're actually going down, because it's not very often you get to build a line here in Murray, right? I mean, everything is pretty much built here, so they actually get to get some hours of training that they wouldn't get here in Murray. So it's a twofold mission, but we appreciate your support on this.
Well, thank you so much, and thanks the other volunteers.
We sure will.
Yeah, we
Thank
really
you.
appreciate that.
Okay, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. That's wonderful. All right, thank you for that. We will now go into the citizen comment section. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. If you want to step up to the microphone, state your name and the city of residence, and then fill out the required form afterwards. So the microphone is now available for citizen comments.
Good evening. I'm Hal Luke, a Murray resident, and on the advisory board of the Senior Citizens Recreation Center. We thank you for your participation and support of the center. It is an asset to the city. On Monday, June 24th, the center sponsored a bridge tournament. And this is the card bridge, not the building of the things, okay? So and it was led by Sharon Baxter, one of our advisory members. After 3 hours, 24 participants competing with skills and knowledge in 16 rounds of play, they finally found some winners. And among these winners, the top 3 winners was June, a young lady of 101 years. So it looks to me like playing bridge can help keep you young and help keep you sharp. This is quite a diverse group of people that were playing there. About 25% of them are men, which is some activities really have a lot of men, some don't have very many. The age span of this group is one in the 60s, 6 in the 70s, 12 in the 80s, 3 in the 90s, and June and her friend over 100 years old. So quite a range. Bridge is quite popular at the center. Every Wednesday and Friday afternoon, they play and socialize for about 3 hours. The group is fairly consistent. They do have some new people and some that drop out for some reason. There's also a learning bridge session on Monday afternoon, so it's quite popular. So thank you for providing a place for this activity. I thank you for allowing me to update you on your investment in the Murray Recreation Center. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hal. It's always great to see you.
Yeah, I need to learn how to play bridge. Monday, right? Yeah.
My name is Sonia Jensen. I live at 4435 South Fairborn Avenue. First, I want to thank you. I was here last month because of the house that was down the street with the weeds that were taller than the fence. That got taken care of very quickly, so thank you. I am actually here about the address of 4460 Fairborn. It's the apartments across the street from my house. The police are there all the time because of things that happen. I work from home, so I get to see a lot. Friday, June 26th, I came home from the gym at 6:30 in the morning with the police. There's about 6 police there behind their cars with their AR-15s drawn, which I knew which apartment it was. They finally got that taken care of and left. Then on Tuesday, July 30th, I'm at home again working. Around 10 a.m., the police come, one car, then another, then different precincts. There was about 30 police officers there. Then the SWAT team shows up. There were several arrests, which I'm glad. I'm not upset that the police have this firearm. I think they should have it to protect themselves and the city. I am upset that we let these people in our city. I know we can't dictate who the apartments rent to, but I definitely feel like we can hold the property managers, the landlords accountable. I truly think we should fine them every single time this happens. There would be a lot of money made across the street from my house, a lot. I don't think any more drive-bys from the police would do any good because they have lookouts. They have a place on the side of one of the buildings where they do a lot of drug exchange, and then they go behind the building where who knows what happens. Now, just because they had arrests doesn't mean this is stopped. New individuals that I've never seen before today have shown up. So even though I'm grateful to the police, I truly am, and this is nothing on them, I don't think I should have to live with coming home with AR-15s drawn because of the people that live across the street from my house. So I encourage you strongly, because of all the apartments that are being built, hold the landlords and the property owners accountable.
Thank you. Okay, I see no more public comments, so I will close.
Hold
one
on, we
more.
do have one.
Yes.
And we did receive a public comment from Brad Lambert at, I guess I don't have his address. But if Phil, you have a second to, are we doing this now? Yeah. I'm not going to read it, but we did receive it, and I did want to just mention that on the record, that we did receive his citizen comment, and we are looking into it further.
So the comment will be added to the
Record.
records.
Mhm.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. Okay, if there are no more public comments, then I now close the public comments section. We have no consent agenda items, so we'll jump right down to our business items. And our first business item will be considering a resolution authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding that may include law enforcement personnel from federal, state, local, tribal, and territorial law enforcement agency for the purpose of locating and apprehending fugitives. Chief, I gave you enough time to walk up there with that long title.
Slowly walk.
Yeah.
Thank you. Much as what you read, what we're doing is just asking for a memorandum of understanding to be signed, allowing us to participate in a task force with the U.S. Marshal's Office that involves other law enforcement agencies here in the Valley, in which we
help each other out in looking for violent offenders and able to use their resources. So that's what this is about.
Okay. Are there any questions? No questions? Okay.
No, we discussed this in committee of the whole.
We
and
did.
it
I just know if
makes
there's any more.
So much sense that,
Yeah, yeah.
we really appreciate your.
Well, we appreciate your support. It's just another tool to help us with the things that we need to deal with every day. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Chief.
You wanna,
I'll
would you
entertain a motion.
like a motion? All right, I will make a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding that may include law enforcement personnel from federal, state, local, tribal, and territorial law enforcement agencies for the purpose of locating and apprehending fugitives.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Ms. Dominguez?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hawk?
Aye.
Mr. Pickett?
Aye. The motion has passed. Thank you. Our second business item is to consider resolution approving the multi-jurisdictional agreement between Murray City and South Salt Lake City for building inspection purposes. Phil, Markin presenting.
Thank you. This is also an item that we discussed just recently in Committee of the Whole. And GL, do we need to have two votes, so a vote on each separate resolution? Okay. In response to Senate Bill 185, which talked about residential building inspection amendments during the 2024 legislative session, they now require a city to provide building inspection services within 3 business days of an application. In response to that, cities are developing these cooperative agreements in order to provide inspectors in the event that a city is coming up against that deadline and asking for help. We can, in turn, send an inspector, if we have one available and it fits, to South Salt Lake to help them out. And they will do the same for us. We also have an agreement in front of us for Draper City and Murray City as well. And so it will require 2 votes. They are exactly the same agreements. And I also have in my possession tonight the executed agreements from those 2 cities and dealing with Murray City. So Draper and South Salt Lake have already signed their agreement with the intent to share these services with us. And I'm asking the council to allow the city to reciprocate.
Any questions or comments from the council? None, then I'll entertain a motion on the South Salt Lake resolution first.
I'll motion to approve a multi-jurisdictional agreement between Murray City and South Salt Lake for building inspection services.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Ms. Dominguez?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hawk?
Aye.
Mr. Pickett?
Aye. Thank you, that passes. We will now consider the same resolution for Draper City. I'll entertain a motion.
I move the approval of the resolution approving a multi-jurisdictional agreement between Murray City and Draper City for building inspection services.
I will second that.
We have a motion for approval on the second.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Ms. Dominguez?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hawk?
Aye.
Mr. Pickett?
Aye. The motion passes. Thank you. Now we move on to the next item. Consider an ordinance amending section 2.62.120 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to employee holiday vacations. And our very own Adam Hawk is presenting. Council member?
Okay, I was wondering if I have to go down. I'm going to present from here. So this amends our city code to adjust the Christmas Eve holiday, which currently stands at employees get a half a day holiday on Christmas Eve, and this will move it to a full day holiday. And then they would keep it on weekends. The history behind this is it used to be something that the mayor would just give to employees, and it wasn't codified. The agreement was made with the council when a past mayor decided to stop that practice to give them a half-day holiday. This would restore it back and codify it, as well as just give a small thank you to the employees for their hard work and dedication to the city.
Wonderful, thank you. Any comments or questions from the council? Then I'll entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to adopt the ordinance amending section 2.62.120 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to employee holiday vacations.
I will second that.
Thank you. We have a motion to amend and a second.
Ms. Cotter?
Because this proposal was not brought in by the administration, so therefore my vote is a nay.
Ms. Dominguez?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Hawk?
Aye.
And Mr. Pickett?
Aye. Thank you. The amendment passes. The ordinance has been amended. And the last business item is consider a resolution accepting for further consideration of a petition for an annexation known as Van Winkle related to property related between 9th East and Van Winkle Expressway and between, oh, you beat me to the podium, approximately 48 South and the boundary of Murray City at approximately 4840, 4990 South in unincorporated Salt Lake County. Brooke Smith presenting.
Thank you. I'm the city recorder here, and tonight we're going to discuss the annexation request by Van Winkle. Marv Hendrickson is the petitioner. He is here in the audience tonight, but just to give you a brief background, on June 18th, 2024, we met during the Committee of the Whole, and I gave a brief update on the status of the Van Winkle annexation. At the time I mentioned we were missing an accurate and recordable map. 2 days after that, I sent a letter to the petitioner just stating that, saying we had to reject his request at the time because we were missing that map. On July 29th, 2024, the petitioner turned in an accurate and recordable map addressing the previous inaccuracy. And so state code requires us to come before the council again and start the process over. So we believe the annexation request is ready to move forward and request a motion to approve the resolution accepting further consideration of the annexation.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the council?
No, I don't have any.
Seeing that there are none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept a resolution for further consideration of a petition for annexation known as Van Winkle related to property located approximately between 900 East and Van Winkle Expressway between approximately 4800 South and the boundary of Murray City at approximately 4840 to 4890 South in unincorporated Salt Lake County.
I'll second.
Thank you. A motion to approve in a second has been.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Ms. Dominguez?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Hawk?
Aye.
Mr. Pickett?
Aye. That has passed. Thank you. Now, Mayor, we want to hear from you. Tell us all the fun things that are going on here.
You notice, Paul, you make Brooke talk fast, because you talk fast, and I noticed Brooke was going, aye, Ms. Arnott, I couldn't even keep up with her. I'm over here going like, Paul, you remind me of, you're too young to remember this, but Truth or Consequence with Bob Barker. He would ask a question and needed an answer in about a half a second. I'm thinking, I don't know anybody that conducts this fast. That's good though, huh? Okay, as far as what's going on, let me just, I wrote it down here, sorry. I can't find it, that's sad, isn't it? Here it is. Okay, as Robert had mentioned about the play that's going on, Peter and the Starcatcher, and that starts this week at the Murray Amphitheater, August 8th through the 10th. And that's the weekend, and then the 12th, 15th through the 17th. So just, we have a lot of things going on at that amphitheater, and it's nice to be used. We have the library has what they call a firefighter's blast tomorrow at 1 p.m. I think it's just exactly what it says. They blast the kids with water, and they love it, especially with 101 degrees. So that is tomorrow, Wednesday, at the Murray Park softball field. And again, that's hosted by the library. Okay, now the really important stuff. Vine Street at 3rd West, this is per Russ. He was a little nervous telling me this, but it reopens So on Third West, it'll reopen Monday or Tuesday. Vine Street east of State Street will be done in 2025, no, I'm kidding. The Vine Street east of State Street should be completed in time for when the kids start school, and I believe that's,
Yeah, 10
is that
days
next
away,
Friday?
yeah.
Seventh grade starts a week from Friday.
So-
Everybody else starts 2 weeks from yesterday.
Okay,
Our
so
teacher
I'm
will
not
know.
sure which deadline it is, but it will be done before school starts, and he just wanted to make sure we shared that with you, so that's my report.
Well, thank you, Mayor. That was a very exciting report. I appreciate you sharing that with us. And
Thanks,
with that, no further ado, we stand adjourned.